They about to look at the shit that I'm on. Why don't we get in topic? Crew looking like pentatonics. Locked in, recording in tropics. And the East Big 3, Big Bronzy B, way good, he working on optics. Thought biz while smoking exotics. We lit, never thought about it. Cause they about to look at the shit that I'm on. Why don't we get in topics? Send way back, all black, I'm talking. Feeling like Shaq, I weigh my options. And the East Big 3, Big Bronzy B, way good, he working on optics. Thought biz while smoking exotics. It's saucy, all the projects. It's saucy.
What is up? What is up? RCR Presents MSD Sports. What's up? What's up? My name is Sam, also known as YBK. And we got Mikey. And we got Camden. And let's get it. Mikey, introduce yourself. Mikey, introduce yourself.
We're back at them for episode number 15 with RCR MSD Sports, baby. It's your boy John 215. A lot of big trades happening tonight, but I have a no trade clause from the MSD podcast.
Yes, sir. Camden, what's good?
You know what it is. It's your boy, Camden Lee, a.k.a. Mr. Club Paradise in the 90250. I'm with the greatest trio ever assembled. You know what it is. MSD Sports. It is an amazing episode 15. I can't believe it. We have a lot to talk about, guys. And I can't wait to get started. Can we set it off?
Yes, sir.
I've been waiting. Can we set it off? Oh my goodness.
All right, let's get it. You said it. Episode 15. Let's get it. In the agenda, what we got today is NBA. And NBA, let's go. We gonna talk about so much NBA, all about NBA. And we gonna start it off with that hot topic that happened on Saturday. The Lakers have traded for LUKA. DONCIC, everybody! Full details: the Los Angeles Lakers traded Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and their first 2029 first-round pick to the Dallas Mavericks for Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris, everybody. And this was a three-team trade, and the Jazz were involved. Jalen Hood-Schifino, and the LA Clippers 2025 second-round pick, and the Mavericks 2025 second-round selection to the Utah Jazz. And we got this whole three-team trade, guys, and I want to talk about it. Let's get it. How you guys feel about this?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to say it one more time. Oh, my goodness. First off, I was laying in bed. I was chilling. You know what I'm saying? It was a nice, relaxing night. I think I was watching Married at First Sight, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Do my little rom-com, you know what I'm saying? Just having a nice evening with my little glass of wine. And all of a sudden, I looked at my phone. I usually try not to look at my phone on the weekends, especially when I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? If you guys special somebody, I know Valentine's Day is coming up. You know what I'm saying? I was cooped up, cuddled up, doing my thing. But then I looked at my phone, and I thought it was a joke. I thought I was getting trolled. I had to remember it was February and not April, because I thought it was April Fool's Day. Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis. First off, I don't know what's going on in Dallas, but shout out to the GMs for this trade. Nobody knew about it. Nobody reported it. This is when you have two men who just say, listen, you the boss, I'm the boss, let's do something. I can't believe it, because normally we got Shams doing his thing, jumping in, jumping out, letting people know. Nobody knew about this. Second off, you trade the face of the franchise. Face of the franchise away? There's a lot to unpack. There's going to be a lot of things I want to talk about in terms of this segment. I need to hand it off to Michael, because I need to hear Mikey. How did you feel? Because I'm letting you know what was happening when I you know what I'm saying, when I found out.
Yeah.
What did you think? I was confused.
It has to be the same reaction that probably most people had. Like, my initial reaction was shock. Like, I didn't believe it. I was just chilling, sitting on the couch, East Coast time, so it's a little after midnight. I'm just saying, I'm cooling, chilling. I hear a buzz on my phone. I'm like, YBK. Say, YBK was good. This boy's voice was trembling. Mikey. I was like, oh my God, what happened? I knew something big happened. In that moment, I shot up, bro. my adrenaline already spiked. So my initial thought was like, this is unbelievable. Like I thought like this is craziness. This is absurd and unmitigated craziness. So I'm sure y'all had the same. YBK, tell me what your initial feelings was. I know you was bugging out.
Oh my gosh, I was half asleep. I was about to fall asleep, and all of a sudden I hear a ding on my notification on my phone. Bleacher Report, red alert emoji, ba ba ba. LUKA to Lakers. I shut up. Woo! I was like, what? Man, you getting the best scorer in the NBA right now to join LeBron James and his Los Angeles Lakers? And of course, we gave up Anthony Davis. Vital piece. He was one of the co-captains of that squad. But for me, I take LUKA over AD. I said it. I'm taking LUKA over AD. This man, I love triple doubles, guys, right? Woo, LUKA be averaging 28, 9, 8 almost. It's not triple double, but he gets close. In some games, he gets them. And I was hyped. And of course, he didn't play for a month for that calf injury in Christmas Day, I think. He didn't play for that whole month of January, but I heard he's coming back on Saturday against the Pacers. And let's see. Because if you combine the best scorer in the NBA, and he's 25 years old, he can do the heavy load for the king. And the king can do what he's doing right now, but a little less almost. And I can see the Lakers succeed here. And I'm pumped.
Let me tell y'all this. Let's run through for people to get an idea of like the accomplishments of each player. Like Luka Doncic so far has been named Rookie of the Year in 2019, NBA All Rookie First Team, NBA All Star 5 times from 2020 to 2024, All NBA 5 times 2020 to 2024. Won the scoring champion last year, averaged over 33. Also was the MVP in EuroLeague before he came here. So great in international play as well. AD though, let's also give him his flowers. Won the 2020 NBA Finals in the bubble, albeit, but is an NBA champion. 9-time All-Star selection, including 2014 to 2021, and then most recently last year. All NBA first team 4 times. All NBA second team last year. All defensive first team 3 times, including last year. And all NBA defensive second team twice. So he's led the league in blocks 3 times, and he's a gold medalist. With that being said on the stage, Sam, you said like you'll take LUKA any day over AD. Camden, how do you feel on that? Because I feel like we might be going in different directions.
Well, I appreciate, Mikey, you giving out the stats and accolades for both of these players. I think there's 2 things you think about in terms of, I guess, on paper, right? Number 1, you have a defensive prowess in Anthony Davis, who can protect the rim, score the bucket, also a proven champion and a proven playoff contender. Then you have LUKA, who is a scoring machine, not necessarily a defensive prowess type of player. And, honestly, when it comes to the playoffs, is averaging one of the highest scoring totals since Jordan. On paper, it looks pretty comparable. Honestly, it really does. But I think this trade has a lot to do more than off paper than on paper to me. I think when I look at the fact that the Lakers only had to give a first-round pick, I think that's where the on-paper situation really helped them tremendously in saying, well, LUKA's been to the finals. He's never won. He's had, he's not necessarily had led his team until last year into a deep playoff run. He doesn't have this great defensive ability. It kind of showed, okay, this is what we're valuing. I was talking to a good friend of mine, one of my homegirls. She hit me up because she's a Lakers fan and she liked LUKA. She was asking me, the equivalent of this trade on paper, you know what I mean? It looks great, but in terms of like real life application, what does that mean? I said, well, it's kind of like, TLC trading Chili for Destiny's Child's Beyonce. Beyonce on paper, you know, in terms of singing, pretty comparable to Chili. But at the end of the day, Beyonce is Beyonce. Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic, and he's 25 years old. Anthony Davis is approaching his 30s.
31.
31. I just don't really see. I don't see what was the Mavs smoking, because I be doing a little something from time to time, but I'd never get that hot. I'm confused.
Nah, you make a good point. I feel like, let's think of a mind, the Mavs GM and the Lakers GM, right? I saw and read that Mavs GM saw Luka and they weren't happy with his conditioning and diet, right? There's like a famous, like, now it's popping because Luka got traded, where in the playoffs I think they won and Luka was having a beer and the GM took it away from him and he walked away, and Luka kind of gave him a look like, oh, what the hell, right? So like they have that going on, and Luka this summer, if he stayed with the Mavs, he would have been eligible for a super max, highest paid NBA player today kind of contract. Like,
now how much money we talking when it comes to the Supermax for this boy?
it's high. It's the highest. I don't know the exact.
5 years, 345.
345.
70 million near, basically.
Yeah. So
you're telling. No. Sorry.
Yeah. So the
sorry.
Mavericks thought that, and maybe I saw they weren't happy about his conditioning, and maybe didn't want to invest in a player so much. But what you said, David, makes a great point, though. Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic. In the playoffs, he's gonna ball and show you, because he showed us. He won single-handedly, led the Mavericks to the finals, even though they lost. But I feel like he himself did it by himself and led them to the finals, in my opinion. Because when you see that Mavericks roster last year, it's weak. That's why the Celtics overpowered them almost, because they were such a full team. So that I don't know. I don't know why they gave up Luka.
I mean, Mikey, I have a couple of things that I want to hear from you real quick. You know, in terms of this $325 million contract, $70 million a year, you trade him to the Lakers, where he's not eligible for that $325 million contract, which would have made him one of the richest stars in all of the NBA. And two, he was living in Texas. So not only are you sending him where he's losing about $100 million based off of the contract, he's then going to lose another 60 or 40 living in the state of California. Do the Mavericks just really hate Luka Doncic? Like, during that playoff run last year, when he's yelling at the refs and he's not playing defense and he's telling teams you better challenge that after he got his last foul that got him out of that game, do the Dallas Mavericks just truly hate Luka Doncic based on his attitude? Are we showing that regardless of what your production is on the floor, if your off floor situation isn't correct, we don't care? Is that what Dallas is saying with this trade, in a sense, Mike?
I mean, you wouldn't trade him to the Lakers if you hated him. Like, I feel like that's like the marquee franchise of the NBA. So it's like, I feel like it would be saying, it's like if you traded him to somewhere, Washington, okay, then I'd say, like, damn, you really hate Luka. But you traded him to the most popular and second most winningest franchise in the history of the NBA. So it's like, that's television. You about to be the face of the league. And they're like happy with that. They're content with him being the face of the league somewhere else. So it obviously says a lot. This is what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know if it's more the general managers making a power move, like ownership asserting their power and showing like we get to exert the decision making, not the players. Because amidst the whole Jimmy Butlers of it all, the Bradley Beals of it all, the James Harden a few years ago, and Kevin Durant's of the last few years, of the players dictating it, now the owners are just trying to reassume the power. I think that's a big part of it. We make the moves, not y'all. Yeah. You're beholden to us. Second, I feel like both teams is in a different paradigm. The Lakers have an aging superstar, right? And LeBron James, who's going to retire in a year or two. If he retired at the end of the year, I don't think no one would be super shocked because he's at that point. You know, he's like a billionaire still playing. So it's all about the future. That's what they're thinking. Luka Doncic about to be our superstar for many years to carry us forward.
Yep.
Because you need a real superstar in a franchise like the Lakers.
Yep.
Truth be told with you, I feel like they kind of needed to make a move because even though their record is a little bit better, I still think that they're the second best team in Los Angeles. So, I mean, sheesh, like I feel like it says a lot. And then you got the Mavericks, who are coming off of a finals appearance. I really think they believe what they're saying about this defense, like defense wins championships. I also feel like it's like one of the moments when you fumble into the right move because last year I remember the trade talks was that Nico Harrison was trying to get Kuzma to the Mavericks and he fumbled his way into getting Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington and they turned out to be perfect fits. So I think this boy he's like got like, you know, this mindset of I'm going to make the move. I got the magic move in the formula. So it's different paradigms, big different paradigms. So
no, I mean, great point, Mikey, about that. The NBA owners kind of taking a little bit more reign back from these NBA players, especially over the last couple years. You know, it kind of really shows where the league is heading. You know, we've invested a lot of money in the Ja Morants. That didn't really turn out very well in terms of a superstar stage. Now we've had more international players, or in terms of the top 10, I think 5 are international, either bred players, or you know what I'm saying. Between SGA, LUKA, Joker, Embiid, Giannis, you know what I mean. There's a lot of guys. The real question that I'm waiting for, right, is SGA, because SGA is up for a massive extension as well, and if he gets traded or something happens in terms of that contract, someone who's never had any offseason issues, someone who plays the game in a great way, someone who hasn't really ruffled any feathers in terms of the referees or anything like that, I'd love to see what happens with his contract moving forward, to see if this was just, hey, at the end of the day, this diva was too much and we didn't feel like paying him all this money for him to have more control over our team, doing more antics, things like that, or we're really trying to just, take more control of the NBA and say we're not trying to pay out these supermax contracts. So I'm definitely trying to see what's up. But who is the winner? Sam, who do we think really won this trade? I know the Lakers are getting a perennial, generational talent for the next 10 years, and the Mavericks look like they're trying to go all in. Would you sacrifice a championship now for an all-time talent, for all-time great, Sam, or are you feeling like, hey, Lukas just don't grow on trees? I'd figure it out at some point.
Yeah, in terms of who won, who lost, I'll grade it. In terms of grading, I give the Lakers an A minus to this trade, and I give the Mavericks like a B. I'm seeing the teams on both sides, and going to the Mavericks' point of view. I mean, now with AD's presence, when you see their starting lineup, it kind of seems full now. Like you have Kyrie at the point, you have Klay Thompson at the 2, you have what's his name? Oh man, I forgot his name. Oh, PJ Washington at the 3. It's all big men, and then AD at the 4, and we have Daniel Gafford at the 5. It's more of like a complete team now. So I'm kind of excited on how the Mavericks are gonna have to shake it up. They're 26-25 right now, so I'm just excited to see the teams play with their players, and the Lakers as well. They had a huge game yesterday against the Clippers, and the Lakers just almost destroyed them. And they were without AD. They had LeBron. Rui and Austin Reeves stepped up, but it was a great game to kind of show the world that the Lakers aren't a bad team without AD. And now just Luka's just waiting in the bench. He's just smiling. He's enjoying it. And I mean, LeBron is right now getting to have a chance to play with the best player in the NBA, and Luka is gonna play with his idol growing up. So in a way, it works on both sides. So I'm excited to see them play in their respective teams. So yeah.
One thing I want to say before we move on to our next segment, AD was complaining about how he wanted to move to his natural position, which was the 4, instead of playing center. And instead of them getting a center, they shipped his behind out of there. That's just crazy to me.
I will say this though, because this is a big part of this conversation. Because a lot of people are like, "Well, AD is injury prone. AD's injury prone." It's like, well, AD did obviously miss a lot of games, but if we're looking at like just the pure amount of games through their first 7 seasons, LUKA is on pace to play the same amount of games as AD. Because AD played 466 games in his first 7 seasons, and LUKA's sitting on 422 right now. And so there's only about half the season left. So AD will have played more games through his first 7 seasons than LUKA. So I feel like it's a little bit of like, yeah, AD was more injury prone at a later, like as he was getting toward this age. So we'll have to see what happens though, because it seems like every year with LUKA, it's always a calf or it's a knee. And I feel like soft tissue injuries do inversely relate to your athletic health. There's a reason why when LeBron got hurt, remember, it's because he sprained that ankle like that. It was never like a tendon issue or like a pulled a hammy, or it was all. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like
it was a freak accident when LeBron got hurt. Someone was literally diving at his feet for the ball. Like LeBron just doesn't get hurt. And I totally get that. I mean, conditioning is a big thing. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of these European boys, they like to drink, they like to eat, they like to horse ride, they like to gamble, they like to, you know what I mean? They like good food. I understand it.
Don't you think if he would have won last year that this whole conversation would be different? If the Mavericks win last year in the finals or put up a real fight and don't get gentlemen swept out of there like real easy with JB whooping that ass on LUKA and making him, treating him like a young bull, like JB saying like, this is what a real player does. They play 2 ways. Right. They play on the offense clutch, and we D you down when it's time in a 7-game series to win the chip. Because I feel like if the Mavericks win last year, obviously this trade is not going to happen, right?
It will never happen.
No.
So you wouldn't keep a champion. Like, no.
Even 7 games, even if it went to 6 or 7 games and it wasn't the gentleman's sweep, or at least it looked like, and even I think in those last couple games in those fourth quarters when LUKA was getting those ticky-tack fouls, yelling at the refs, having a hissy fit, looking like a 4-year-old on the basketball court. I think if I'm the GM, I get it. I'm like, bro, like this man is he's not making the Supermax yet, and he's already causing problems. If I give this man $70 million, man, a year, he gonna be causing a lot of problems.
So. Yeah, and look at Nikola Jokic. Like, no one's saying that you have to be the peak athletic specimen.
No,
true. No one's saying if you win 3 MVPs and you win a chip and you're a system player and you're a hard worker, you don't have to be looking like a Greek Adonis. You just have to win. And I feel like maybe behind closed doors, there's something we didn't know. That's the only thing I can say to explain this.
Well, even Joker had his issues where he was drinking a lot of soda, and the Jazz came to him, or the Nuggets came to him and said, "Hey, you know what I mean? You've been ballooning up a little bit." And he says, "Okay, during the regular season, and trying during a little bit only on the off season, I'm gonna have soda." So he took ownership of, hey, like, I'm not gonna look like Giannis. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna look like my boy Michael John with his shirt off when he's at the beach. He's not everybody gonna look like that. But instead, I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna cut down a couple of sugars. I'm gonna try to figure it out, and then look at him now. 3 MVPs later, possible 4th. Franchise player. There's no way Joker's getting traded. I'll tell you that right now.
He's
if you just play the whole season, you don't gotta. If you could just play the whole season, 70+ games. The least amount of games Nikola Jokic ever played in his career is 69. So it's like, if you could keep it up there, I feel like when you start dipping into those 60s, like we be giving all that flack to Kawhi, right?
That's true.
I feel like the term untouchable is like kind of like disappearing now after this LUKA trade. No one's safe.
There's only a few guys now that I feel like are legitimately untouchable. I mean, I think it's JT, SGA, and Wemby. Like that's all. Like, that's it. in my opinion.
I think
And
Curry
Luka.
might be there too.
Now Luka.
Not because of skill, but because of
Well,
like
Oh,
yeah.
true.
yeah, just for like the respect of his legacy. But you
But
know,
I'm saying ain't nobody getting JT at this age. Ain't nobody getting Wemby right now. You know what I'm saying?
no,
Like that's
no
it's not
shot.
gonna happen. But like you might maybe, you know what I'm saying? LeBron might go to the Warriors. You never know. You know what I'm saying? They figure it out.
Yeah,
I like that.
Shoot.
if
Guys,
Mark Cuban was there, they wouldn't have made this trade.
No, if he was the majority owner, still would have been fine. But you know, he saw a little bit of that because you know he's making Skrilla.
The
So
look
it is-
that you saw on Jason Kidd's face during that press conference was priceless. This guy, you saw his soul left his body already. It's like he's just so devastated. And it's like, man, all right, let's see. Damn.
That's
I
crazy.
think it's a business too as well. Like, listen, if you got Kyrie and AD, and then a bunch of good players around them, try to get a playoff spot and make a run like last year.
We run the pick and roll. We make it popping.
And they got Clay. A little
Shoot.
older, but
Shoot, I tell you, one team. You know,
Let's
I
get
know
it.
we're gonna go to the next. We're going to the next segment. I know we were talking about LUKA. Shout out to LUKA. Hopefully, he's repping my Lakers. You know what I mean, doing it right the next couple of years. But one team that is definitely running the pick and roll after this trade, the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs have received De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. I cannot believe this, to come and join to Wemby. The Kings have received Zach LaVine, City Cisco, and 3 first-round picks. 3 first-round picks. 2025 for Charlotte, 2027 San Antonio, and 2031 for Minnesota. And the Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and their own 2025 pick back from San Antonio. Guys, how do we feel about this trade? Wemby is going to get somebody young with him that he can do a little damage with in San Antonio. I'm excited. De'Aaron Fox seemed to be on the move. I felt like he was dying over there.
I like this a lot, bro. I think this is I think De'Aaron Fox got to go where he wanted to go. I think he did it in a tactful way. The agent let them know a hot minute ago, we ain't gonna re-sign. You know, y'all could offer us the contract, but we ain't gonna re-sign. Young player, averages like what, 25 and 6. I feel like every year, last few years, it's like that's a great player. And I think the Kings got ample compensation as well. You receive an all-star in return in Zach LaVine, 3 first-rounders, and a bunch of second-round picks, which, you know, that's like some little play money right there. Y'all know how we feel about second-round picks on MSD.
Little play money.
Hey, and the Bulls get some talent. Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and they get their 2025 pick back. I feel like it kind of works all around because you get rid of the contract of LaVine. You get a couple players to keep the roster afloat, a little something to play with. I think this works on all sides. I'm very satisfied with this trade.
Yes. I am also too happy. Same way of like both teams kind of, it works well on both sides. Wemby, I mean, he had Chris Paul. He had that mentorship. He experienced like almost half the season with Chris Paul, and to have this dynamic offensive player like De'Aaron Fox now coming in, it kind of changes the perspective of Wemby, and they're both young. So, and the Spurs have that young core team right now with Castle and what is his name, Suchan, and there's a lot of young guys there. And also for the Kings though, I really like the formation of their starting lineup too now with the addition of Zach LaVine. Now you can kind of see Malik Monk at the point, Zach LaVine at the 2, DeMar DeRozan at the 3, Sabonis at the 4. And now they got Valanciunas recently with a trade after they got LaVine, and you add him to the mix. Now this Sacramento Kings lineup is looking deadly, and they're gonna light the beam almost every home game, it feels like. So yeah, looking good for the Kings.
I think that it's more of a next year type of move for the Spurs, though. I think this is more of a long-term move for the Spurs. It's not like an immediate payoff this year because Spurs are sitting right now. They did come up with a dub tonight, actually. First win with De'Aaron Fox and Wemby of their career. Just edged one out on Atlanta. I still think, if I had to guess, right, I think that they're going to miss playoffs I do think that they're gonna. I want them to make playoffs, but we talked about our predictions for playoffs a few episodes back, and I'm definitely gonna have to, especially with some of the moves now with the Warriors. Of course, we're gonna get to that in a little bit. I feel like there's some teams that I don't necessarily see the same complexion that I saw on our previous discussion. So I think Spurs make a move for the future and give Wemby his running mate for the next 5 years or so.
100%, 100%. I think, you know what I mean. You learn from a veteran like YBK was saying. You learn from a veteran like Chris Paul, someone who can kind of slow the game down for you, really kind of teach you, okay, how to really be a pro. And then now you got an upgraded guard that can really run the floor with you, and that can really, let you use your athleticism to its best. I mean, I'm really excited for the Spurs, and like you said, Mikey, I do think this is not a win now situation. This is we're gonna let these guys get some chemistry and kind of grow. Sacramento looks amazing. I mean, if I had that team in 2K, it would be dirty. I'm not gonna lie, I could do some dirty things. And the crazy thing is that looking at their starting lineup and then the stockpile of draft picks, that in itself also kind of puts it into a bigger perplexity of scheme of things, because you're saying, okay, not only do you have a great starting five, couple pieces on the bench, you know what I mean, I still think they need to bolster up their bench a little bit, but you have a plethora of picks, you know what I mean, in this cabinet, a war chest of picks in this situation. Are we thinking that maybe the Kings are making another move next year, or seeing kind of how the landscape goes with the trade deadline this year, just to kind of see who might be a little bit unhappy, because we got a bunch of third round picks and a couple firsts that can make something popping. So I think Sacramento definitely makes the playoffs. I think they might not do any crazy damage, but I think they're definitely poised for a decent playoff run. Maybe a 6 or 7 game series. We'll see what happens. But I definitely see a win-win for everybody. And the Bulls, we knew that the Bulls were imploding at the beginning of the season. We knew that everybody was leaving. I'm still waiting for Vujicic to get over to the Lakers because we still need a center. But I'm just saying, I don't know. But yeah, I think the Bulls needed a little something just to keep the fans in the stands. But it was those things.
Assets, man. If you ain't good, just get some assets now. That's what I feel like. I'm not really sure. I gotta say this though. I think that on paper the Kings roster sounds good, but I'm not so sure I understand the identity of the team. I'm not sure I see the vision. Because Malik Monk is good, but he was 6th man of the year. So what, you try to elevate him into starting point guard, right? To make him that guy. I'm not sure if that works for a 6th man of the year type guy. Second, you bring DeMar DeRozan in, and it's like, who is supposed to be the guy when you need the bucket? Whose ball is it gonna be? DeRozan taking it? Because if I'm thinking about that roster, Sabonis is the player who I feel like is the bona fide all-star who was snubbed yet again.
Yep.
But Sabonis is that guy, 20 and 14. I just don't. I mean, Levine. Here comes Levine now too. All-star Levine comes into town. Like, who's the guy? I'm not sure if I see. I think it's a very talented roster. I'm just not sure I see winning basketball written all over it, just because it's talented players.
Well, Levine and DeRozan were together in Chicago.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
And DeRozan definitely had an upgraded season, was able to get to his spots, and was really able to flourish. So I think if DeRozan can really kind of say, okay, I'm going to take over more of this fourth quarter situation, kind of like Kemba Walker back in the day toward the end of his career, where he was just saying, hey, I don't need to worry about the first 3 quarters. I'm going to start really scoring buckets in the fourth. I think it could be something. You have an athletic team. Sacramento is not really known for athleticism. And so you got some guys like Levine and DeRozan who can move. So we'll see what happens, especially in the slow-paced West. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it was a good trade. It was needed. Everybody knew. Everybody was unhappy, and it was good that people found their landing spots.
chemistry-wise, you're right. They played together, but the Bulls made playoffs like once in the last 5 years. So
That's
I
true.
just don't know if it bodes well for like me feeling like that because I felt like I thought they was gonna make playoffs, and now I look at it and I think about it. I'm like, it's tight, bro. It's gonna be tight.
Yeah, I don't. That's a good point because I was looking at their when I was looking at their starting lineup now. Levine joining DeMar again. It's like, DeMar signed with the Kings this year, and he's doing okay, 21-3-3. But it's like, does Levine coming into this lineup help DeRozan though? Because the Bulls didn't make any damage, right? Like at their time there. But is Sabonis, Monk, Valanciunas is enough? Is this different team enough for these two to succeed? So we'll see. That's
You
the
know who's
question.
been having a kind of a quiet year is Keegan Murray, who kind of had a step up last year, I felt like. And this year, I ain't really heard much from him. So the bench is important in these situations, right? The
yeah.
bench is very important in these situations. Starting lineup's good, but you can't play 48 minutes a game.
No, not at all. You need some depth. You need some depth. So
Let me ask y'all about this one because
Yep.
this one was kind of, I felt like for me, it feels like it finally signals the changing of the guard for the Milwaukee Bucks because I've been watching this fool hit some crazy shots. I still remember back to that game. Scary Terry and Middleton was dueling in the playoffs. This was like what, 2017?
Yeah.
And Middleton hit that crazy deep three with like 0.5 seconds left on the clock to tie the game and push it into OT. And we still won that game. But Chris Middleton has been dealt from the Milwaukee Bucks to the Wizards, and they got Kuzma out of it.
Wow.
A couple other players were involved in it. Patrick Baldwin from the Wizards went to the Bucks as well, and AJ Johnson from the Bucks went to the Wizards. They did get a 2028 first round pick swap. The Wizards out of this. Bucks got a 2025 second rounder. So just a little change here. We're gonna toss you this little bill right here.
cup of Dallas.
This is a good move for the Bucks for me. I think this was the move that I seen when I was watching, the talk shows this week about potential moves to watch out for. This was literally one that was highlighted on at least two. And it's because the Bucks were over that second apron. You know how we've been talking about them aprons, first apron, second apron. When you're over the second apron, it freezes future assets. So their 2032 draft pick, they can't use it as a trade bargain if you're over the second apron. So it was important to get underneath because you kind of you got to get the books in line, keep your trade assets in line. Middleton been injured bad the past few years. I feel like that he's been down bad. He's been looking older than his age suggests. And I like Kuzma. Kuzma having a bad year, but he's on a really bad team. So
I mean, I'm loving this trade. I mean, number one, I wanted Chris Middleton to be gone 3 years ago. I felt like he's one of those guys that when you watch him on a highlight reel, he's amazing. Looks like a top 5 player. But day to day, game to game, one day he's shooting, scoring 26 on 40 on 47% from 3. The next he has 8 with 23 on 30. Like, it's just the peaks and valleys are so high. Again, like Mikey said, he's been riddled with injury over the last couple of years. I love Kyle Kuzma. When the Lakers drafted him 13th, I felt like it was an amazing pick, and I really wanted him to stay a lot longer than he did. Kind of sent to die over in Washington, where a lot of guys are sent to die. Shout out Jordan Poole. I know you balling over there doing your thing, but yeah, I mean, the Bucks needed to get younger. I think this was a clear sign of that. I mean, you got guys who are kind of long in the tooth over there, especially with Dame, and a lot of these bench guys. So you needed a nice, fresher, younger leg who's still a pro, still been in the league for a couple years to kind of hold it down. I love this trade. I wish they did it earlier. I wish they did it last year, maybe even 2 seasons ago.
I feel like the winner of this trade is the Bucks. David, you said it. Chris Middleton's contract, you ain't gonna pay no 30+ mil to this guy again if I were a Bucks GM. Oh, no. Kyle Kuzma's 29. He's gonna be 30 next year. Contract's way lighter. 23 mil next year, 21 mil next year, and then the next year 19 in the free agent, and Kyle Kuzma will be 32. So I feel like the total winner here is the Bucks, and the Bucks here, I mean, Giannis, he's Giannis, right? But this kind of gives the load off of him, a little pressure less off his chest a little bit, and let Kyle kind of do his thing too on the court. You also got Dame as well, so there's a lot of weapons here the Bucks have with Brook Lopez, with that center position. So I feel like the winner here is I'm going all the 100% Milwaukee Bucks.
I feel like it's not bad for the Wizards in a sense of like you do get the 2028 first round pick swap, so you're just hoping that you get a better pick out of it, basically. And then you also have a veteran player. Like, let's not forget when they won the championship, Middleton was the second best player on the team. It wasn't Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday was real good, but I don't think I would elevate him as being the second best player on that team. It was Giannis as the superstar and Chris Middleton playing Robin till Giannis is Batman.
But
I feel like I do want to put some respect on Chris Middleton's name because he was an all-star, right? He just ain't he getting older, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess for the Wizards, the only thing I can really say is like you got young players and you need some veteran presence and maybe someone to teach you how to be a consummate professional. And maybe he's the right guy to do it. Because like Kuzma's still making 20 mil. It's like a $10 million difference. So it's like maybe the long-term repercussion, you're not going to get nothing out of Kuz anymore, right? He signed the 4-year and we're toward the end of the contract now. He's got this year, one more year after this one.
So he got two more years after this one.
2 more years after this. So he's in his third year.
Not bad, actually. I mean, hey, it opens up because Middleton, has one more year on his contract.
Yeah.
So it opens up, you get freedom so you get one less year on the contract. And I think it works for both sides because now the Bucks get a cheap player for less than $20 million because I know that Kuzma's contract was top heavy.
Yeah.
So it's
he
less
gets
than
19.
$20 million.
He gets 19 the last year.
Yeah, that's not bad, bro. Less than $20 million for Kuzi for the last 2 years, I feel like is fair. So I just want to give some respect to Middleton. Like I know he's been ailing, but at least
he was a good player. I'm not sitting here saying he was trash or anything like that. Like he definitely earned his flowers in Milwaukee, and I think the Bucks are indebted to him in terms of organization for winning that ring. I just think. He was a great asset during that time. And I think after that championship, his trade value was at its peak, like at its precipice. And I think Milwaukee would have been able to get a bundle for him and it would have been great for them. But instead, you know what I mean? They re-signed him and then riddled with injuries. So I kind of knew like after that finals, like this is the apex of your ability right now. Let's get Giannis a little bit younger and make it poppin'. But we'll see what happens. So, but they're making moves trying to keep Giannis happy. I think that's what's the most important. They're trying to do whatever they can to make Giannis happy.
Yep.
So,
basically.
They're on a skid right now, the Bucks too. They ain't looking great. Like they hot and cold. Like I mean, I feel like we seen them really below 500. They started moon rocketing and now like it's like they kind of hovering like a little bit above 500 still.
It's tough, man. When you old, like when you've been in the league like 4, 5, 6, 7 years, it's hard to play 82 games mentally and physically. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these guys know it's like I just gotta win like 47, 45 games. I'm gonna make it to the playoffs and I'll be all right. Like we'll see after the All-Star break. I think that's what really matters for a lot of these guys with older superstars. Let's see what happens after the All-Star break because there's going to be a lot going on. I mean, the Wizards also got rid of somebody who I wanted, who I could have used over in LA. Giannis Valanciunas, you know what I mean? He's deciding to go to Sacramento. We were just talking about Sacramento, and I know YBK was saying that a new addition. What's up for Sidney Kisco and 2 Bills, aka 2 second-round picks. So, I'm excited. You know what I mean? Like I said, Sacramento is just doing what they can. They got 3 second-round picks. They said take those couple bills. Y'all can have them. Let me get somebody real quick, make it pop.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
That's a beautiful deal. Beautiful deal, guys.
Very, very easy. Very
nothing.
easy. Nice and simple. And like I said, the Wizards are just, they're acquiring assets.
They got to rebuild.
And taking contracts. In the rebuild.
Beautiful deal in my opinion, there.
Guys, and YBK, I might need you to lead this because we've been talking about this man.
We've been talking about this man for a couple episodes, guys. This guy's been giving drama, NBA news everywhere, like suspension there, suspension next week, this week. He's not even entering the facility. Jimmy Butler, everybody, finally gets what he wants and goes to the Bay Area and joins the Golden State Warriors, everybody. This was a at first 5-team, but now 4-team trade. This was crazy, guys. I'll read this to you guys. Warriors receive Jimmy Butler. The Heat receive Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, Warriors 2025 first round pick with that top 10 protection. Utah Jazz receive Dennis Schroeder, who recently was a net, who went net and a Warrior, and now he's a Jazz. The Pistons receive Lindy Waters and Josh Richardson. The Raptors, the initial trade was they get Kyle Anderson, but they kind of backed out, and the Heat is just keeping Kyle Anderson. So he's just going to go back to Miami. And right after Jimmy got traded, minutes after, Mr. Butler signs a 2-year, $121 million contract extension with the Warriors, guys. Wow! Let's talk about this. Jimmy Bucket's a Warrior. Ooh.
Listen. Number one, the man was making about $56 million next year. You knew his player option. He was taking that money. He wasn't taking it in Miami. And you know the boss said, "Get me out of here." He was begging, pleading, praying, and he's gone. I think this is something that we talked about in multiple episodes. Bring him to the Warriors. Get rid of Andrew Wiggins. I'm going to put a little respect on Andrew Wiggins' name. My man was nice. You know what I'm saying? He was nice. My man was balling. The only reason why I think the Golden State Warriors got rid of him is because he had a little baby mama drama. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know, go look on the tabloids. There's been some crazy. He's been messing with his head. Boy, ain't been able to play straight since. So, got to get rid of this brother. It was just due time. It just is what it is. But the Warriors, like we talked about, have decided not to waste Stephen Curry's career. Finally, we have some moves. We've been talking about it all year. The Warriors need to do something. The Warriors need to do something. The Warriors need to do something. They finally did something. And I'm just so happy for this Jimmy Butler saga to be over. He's been dominating the headlines. He's been dominating our show. Every single time we talk NBA, we got to talk about Jimmy Butler. And the man is making $60.5 million over the next couple years for that 121. Wow. That's just unbelievable. I think the Warriors need to do a little something else, because I don't know if just Jimmy and Steph is going to be able to handle it. But I like this. This isn't bad for me. I'm okay. Mikey, how we feel, baby? How we feel? Jimmy finally on the move.
I'm glad. I got to say, we don't always get our predictions right, but if y'all clock it back early on when we talked about trades, before the Warriors was even a really talked about trading spot, I said it. I said this on the pod. I said, if I'm the Warriors, I'm offering Wiggins and whoever. And somehow they got away with Schroeder, Warriors, and the Wiggins and Schroeder. Bro, I was saying just don't give up Kuminga, essentially.
Right,
give Podziemski. Give Trace Jackson Davis. They didn't give up none of them. Can you believe that?
I mean, it makes you really think about that Dennis Schroeder trade, earlier, weeks before the trade deadline, guys. Way before the Warriors made this random trade to get Dennis Schroeder. And we're like, why in the world is Dennis Schroeder and Steph Curry ever going to be on the same court at the same time ever? Makes no sense. Logistically, they're both little people. both in stature and in weight. Who gonna play defense? Now we know they was getting a little stockpile so they could go get Mr. Butler pay off Jimmy.
I feel like they wanted to play Schroeder, to be honest. I think they wanted to, because that was like what, mid-December they did that? Like that was early. They really wanted to try to shake it up because they knew the long-term formula wasn't there for success. I just feel like this is as perfect as it can get. I don't think I could Wiggins for Butler is a great trade.
Amazing.
Essentially, 1 first-round pick, but it's a top 10 protected first rounder.
Top 10.
That's not that good. I don't know what the Heat kept saying we're holding out until we get a good deal because we don't like our deals. Like, I don't really like what you got right here. They probably would have liked the Suns desperately wanted. They traded that first-round pick to the Jazz for those 3 first-round picks, and they wanted to deal those first-rounders with Bradley Beal and maybe 1 or 2 role players for Jimmy, but Bradley Beal ain't want to go. He said, I'm not going. I'm not going.
He's not going. He's got to do a lot for him to get over. I mean, listen, I think PJ Tucker coming to Miami, I think that's great. He loves the city of Miami. It's one of his favorite places in the world. I think Andrew Wiggins having a change of scenery is always great. Being in a place where he can have a little fun, do a little something. And the question is, what are the Warriors doing next?
Yeah. Making the playoffs.
They got to do something.
They're making the playoffs now, y'all.
They got to do something. They got to kick it in the gear now with Jimmy. So,
right, YBK? Golden State making the playoffs, right?
Where are they at right now? What seed they at?
I think they sitting on like 11 or 10.
Oh, they at 10, 25, 24? I mean, if they're here right now, they can make playoffs with Jimmy Butler for sure. But you have to watch out though. In the bottom 4, you got Minnesota, you got Sacramento who got to upgrade. Phoenix is just Phoenix, and I mean Warriors did get an upgrade too. So yeah, it's 7 in Minnesota, 8 Sacramento, 9 Phoenix, and then 10 is Golden State right now.
I'm glad that they made a move though, because they couldn't get KD. You saw all the reports that they tried. They went full blast for KD.
So basically, I saw news articles where Warriors were. It was either KD and KD said no, and then it was Jimmy Butler, and if Jimmy Butler said no, Warriors would have moved on to get Vucevic, but they got what they wanted. They got Jimmy buckets. So
imagine KD going back to the Warriors.
KD said no, right?
Yeah,
KD said he had no desire to return. That's why they quit pursuing it.
Yeah. He said no.
Even though he doesn't have a no trade clause, I feel like you got to respect sometimes. Like if a player don't want to play for you.
Like, yeah,
why not? When he's going to play for you.
Don't be.
What do you think? Y'all know that Jimmy Butler was just playing coy. He was playing leverage game. I ain't re-signing with Golden State. I ain't re-signing with Golden State. He got traded, and I hit my coworker. I said, "Yo, Jimmy to Warriors." He said, "Yeah, but he ain't re-signing." Not 3 minutes later, yo, he re-signed.
Listen, Jimmy knows how to move the market. He knows how to move the media. This is a master class in getting what you want and going to the place that you needed to go without crippling your team or giving them anything that they really needed, especially with Miami. I mean, Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, and a protected first round. I feel like, the Heat are kicking themselves at the end of the day, because if Jimmy kept his mouth shut, they probably would have got a little something. But because he decided, listen, guys, y'all pissing me off. Y'all getting on my nerves. Y'all want to make my boy Sham look like an idiot on his first year running the show in terms of breaking news. All right, Pimpin'. I'm going to make sure y'all ain't getting nothing. Not a thing. Not a dime.
Yeah, well, the Heat didn't offer him an extension. Nope. So,
they didn't want to pay him.
What is he, 34, why? 35? It's like, I would have been pissed too, kind of, if you willed that team to
Do you think Miami and Dallas, the Heat and the Mavericks go to lunch together on a regular basis? Do you think they go to dinners, hanging out, saying, we're not gonna pay our superstars? We're not gonna take it. Is that what they be doing when we're not watching them? I'm just a little confused.
On the day-to-day?
I don't know what they be doing, but they be getting to the finals somehow. So whatever the hell they got in the water, they be getting to the conference finals and be getting to the finals in the last 5 years. So I can't you're right, but I don't know what the hell. how the hell they make it work. But some people know how to, you send like a good chef into the kitchen with scraps and they turn it into a gourmet meal sometimes. And I think we've seen it, we've seen the magicians pull the rabbit out of a hat many times. I just don't think Miami doing it again this year. That's for sure.
No. I would unless
I bet
Andrew
on the
Wiggins turns
Mavericks.
into Andrew Wiggins from a couple years ago. I
Yeah.
mean, but I don't.
At least Dallas has Kyrie and AD, like the real star power, because that's like two true all NBA players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really think Miami Heat with Bam Adebayo as your best player, or Tyler Hero, if you're saying Tyler Hero's their best player, I'm not really sure that's going to cut it with Andrew Wiggins as the number 3,
Yeah.
right? I don't think that's going to cut it. Not this year.
Hold up. I got some news going on the ticker. I heard GM Sam needs to come into the building for 10 seconds. GM Sam, I heard you're calling in. Please talk to us.
Reporting in. Breaking news, everybody. I know we talking about NBA real quick, but we got breaking news, everybody. We going quick MLB free agency. Mr. Polar Bear Pete Alonso agrees to a 2-year, $54 million deal with a $10 million signing bonus and returns to the New York Mets, everybody. And the Mets kind of complete their whole lineup, and they looking scary in the NL East. Oh my goodness.
Listen, I'm sorry. He was calling in. I know this was supposed to be an all NBA episode. NBA. But GM Sam was calling. He was calling a couple times. I was looking on my phone. I said, "Oh snap!" He said, "I need to interrupt the episode." We talked about this. We talked about Alonso and the Mets and them just playing coy, trying to figure out who's going to jump first. We knew he wasn't going anywhere. We knew it was a question of how much money he was going to get. And the man got $54 million, $27 million a year. We said it was going to be around 23, 24 APB. I'm very excited about the fact that he got his coin. But oh my goodness, was there ever a doubt, Mikey? Was there ever a doubt that Alonso was coming back to the New York Mets?
There was a doubt for a hot minute because he should have you would have think he'd resigned sooner to your franchise you've been with forever, but that's good money. 2 years, 47, you said, Sam?
It's a 2-year, 54.
2-year, 54.
Yeah, with a $10 million signing bonus.
$27 million a year. That's good. That's more than Santander got with the Blue Jays, right?
And I think that's more than Christian Walker.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's on par because his numbers was on par with Santander, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like low, mid 200s batting average, but putting up like 40 dingers. So
I feel like both sides waited. The Mets were looking for options for instead of signing Pete Alonso, and Alonso was looking for options outside of the Mets. And I feel like, and it became to a point where we're in February now. Spring training starts in a month. Pitchers and catchers are reporting next week in Valentine's Day. So I feel like they were both in like an urgency, and I feel like they kind of called back, and they kind of reached their terms of, all right, I got you, just come through, And I feel like even for Alonso, them signing Soto, more starters, bolstering their roster, I feel like he's even excited to join the Mets, and like what you said, Mikey, he's been in a Met for his whole life, so this is a great signing for both sides, guys.
At the end of the day, you can try and say, I think I'm gonna go and have another date for the school dance. You think you're gonna go with another girl because you and your girl been on the outs. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you forgot something for her birthday. Maybe she forgot something for you. But we all know when you in love, you know what I mean, or smitten, as we like to say back in the day. That it always comes back around, and we knew, at least I knew that Pete loves the Mets and the Mets love Pete. The real question was, was it gonna break the bank? It doesn't look like they hurt too much, so I'm really happy about this. Yeah. I'm really excited. You know what I mean? I'm happy. Pitchers are like GM Sam said, pitchers and catchers are reporting pretty soon. So we want to get the season on the road. You know what I'm saying? We want to get this thing cracking. I know there's a couple pitchers still on the docket in terms of free agents. They'll get there at some point, but I knew we had to jump into this episode with a little bit of this because this joint was crazy.
I got one more alert for y'all right now.
What's the alert?
One more light alert. Not a trade, but we do have a contract extension.
What?
For a player that has been sought after for trades by teams in the mix for playoffs. I might swerve in that corner. Whoa. Mr. Lonzo.
Oh,
Mr. Lonzo got a 2-year, $20 million extension. I'm happy for him. Good, bro. After he was out for all them years, putting cartilage from different body parts in that knee to try to reconstruct it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him playing well. Seriously. I feel like I don't want to root against no one, and I'm glad that he's playing well. And he got 2 years, $20 million to stay with Chicago.
10 million a year, okay.
I'm glad. I feel like that's like a fan favorite type player right there. That's like if you Chicago fan, like you want to see the players that you like staying, especially with all the trade rumors swirling around everyone. You got to have someone to root for if you're showing up in the stands. Imagine you a season ticket holder and it's just you selling your team off. So I'm glad for that. I like that. 2 years, 20 mil.
This is awesome. I
Solid.
mean, he was in the final year of a 4-year deal, so you know what I mean. He would have been a free agent this year, with a lot like Mikey was saying, a lot of these guys kind of leaving. It's nice for the fans to kind of see somebody that they respect and someone who's really been putting in a lot of work to get on the court. You know what I mean? We had a lot of concerns about Zoe throughout his career in terms of injuries, just strength of tendons and joints. And, he's really struggled. And similar to a Stephen Curry, who kind of was riddled with injuries in his first couple of years, we rooted for him. And I think, we're hoping that, Lonzo can come back, you know what I mean, these next couple of years, hopefully get healthy and, hopefully return to all-star form that we know that Mr. Zoe Ball can do. So shout out to Lonzo. Very happy for him to stay in Chicago. I know he loves it there. So, shout out to the Ball family.
Facts. I feel the same way.
I got a question to pose to y'all.
Yes, sir.
As the trade deadline winds down right now, do y'all have anyone that you're like disappointed that didn't get moved, or like you're surprised didn't get moved? Because there's a few people that kind of come to my mind when I think about trades that could have went through. Vucevic strikes me as like a big one that's on all of our lists, but
100%.
I thought that someone was gonna get Cam Johnson. I thought a contender was gonna get Cam Johnson. I feel like he's stuck on the Nets, and the Nets are kind of like a middling ass team. So I feel like, damn, you stuck in purgatory. Sorry, you stuck in purgatory another year.
I agree.
But are you surprised at any players that didn't get moved or yet?
I mean,
3 p.m.
I know we still got till 3 p.m. tomorrow, guys.
Time.
So for all of our listeners, we'll probably be hearing this, you know what I mean, at some point during the evening today, or early morning tomorrow. The trade deadline is Thursday. It's I think it's at 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that.
12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern.
3 o'clock Eastern time. So we'll know by the time that midday lunch hit over on the West Coast if anything's popping. I think for me, I'm really surprised that Bradley Beal didn't get traded. I think, I was reading some reports earlier that his kids and wife were coming to the game and they were getting harassed by many of the Phoenix Suns fans. Guys, don't do that. You know what I mean? We're human beings. We have families. We're trying to earn a paycheck just like that. What if somebody went to your job and started harassing you, telling you what to do, saying that you're a bum? The fact that you drive a Supra and from 2001 and you be pressing pencils all the time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, you earn your coin just like everybody else does. We all trying to make it happen. Let's be nice. But yeah, I mean, I was really surprised. Bradley Beal. Like I said, Vucevic, I'm waiting for my Lakers. Like I said, my Lakers to kind of do something. One guy that I was really, really surprised about that didn't get traded, that we did talk about a huge trade, was LeBron. I thought, you know what I mean, for some reason, similar to his teammates speaking about the fact that, hey, I don't really like playing center. I want to play my natural position, which is the 4. LeBron has been talking about, hey, I really would love to play with Steph Curry. I really would love to play with Steph Curry. I really would love to play with Steph Curry. I had an amazing time on the Olympics. And just kind of seeing everything that kind of went down, knowing that Steph wasn't leaving. And LeBron has gone to, 1, 2, 3, 3 different teams. I was pleasantly surprised. So I think LeBron more for, he's him saying what he wants, and LeBron usually trying to do something during the trade deadline that involves everybody but himself. I thought this was going to be the opposite. And Bradley Beal for sure, probably my big two as of right now. What about you, YBK? What are we thinking?
I feel like one guy, he's still, we said, the trade deadline is tomorrow at 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. One guy that I'm looking at is Nick Claxton. Great center, young piece. He is 25. I feel like he didn't get much playing time compared to the last 2 years where he kind of averaged almost a double-double each game. And speaking of the Nets and speaking of LeBron James, it's crazy how it kind of all correlates. I kind of want Lakers. Of course, Vucevic would be a nice piece for our squad here in the Lakers. But what if we add a younger guy like Claxton in the 5 and both 25, LUKA and Claxton under LeBron's mentorship with Austin Reeves? And I feel like with the trade, we can trade away like a Rui, again with the Rui, but a Rui in like a second, 2 second, or maybe 1 second. Get me Claxton.
I'll propose you something.
But yeah,
for y'all centers.
What is it?
I told you all this one way back when, but y'all said he's too injured. Robert Williams.
Hold
on. No, I'm gonna tell you a different one.
Okay.
Former number 1 overall pick and plays for the same team as Robert Williams.
Not
DeAndre Ayton.
Wow! I totally forgot about Ayton.
I would totally say I like your thought first, Sam, of Claxton. Nick Claxton would be good, but I don't know if they're going to last minute want to get rid of him. But if they didn't get rid of Cam Johnson, I don't know what they're going to, if they're going to get a better offer for Claxton. But Ayton
would be great. Ayton would be great. Miles Turner could also be somebody that could do something.
True. I see that. I can see that.
Ayton would be dirty. Boy, can't imagine Ayton with LUKA and LeBron skin. Because we know we don't need that boy to score. I mean, we got a couple more hours.
Yes,
got about 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? A couple more hours. We'll see what happens. I know people gonna be on the phone all night trying to figure out what's popping. So
you know who's got to make a deal, should make a deal, but probably going to have a hard time now is the Pels, because DeJounte Murray now down for the year. They got to sell, bro. Like, let McCollum or Ingram go somewhere if you can get something for them.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of discussions. Remember at first they was talking about Ingram for BUTLER? Obviously that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
But McCollum and Ingram are sitting there and stuck on that squad.
Speaking of Pelicans, they just traded with the Thunder. Thunder gets Daniel Tice and a 2031 second round pick for just cash. So the Thunder gets Daniel Tice. A pretty solid piece, I feel like.
Not bad. A little bench, a rotational piece.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very exciting.
Well, a lot's going on in NBA, and we'll be back to tell y'all about the last trades and the deadlines. I want to make one quick pit stop before we sign this off. We was talking about TGL, and we had some good a couple matches played this week. The Los Angeles Golf Club is sitting there up top with 4 points right now. They're leading the league right now. But we did want to take a moment to extend our condolences to Tiger Woods, the Woods family, and the golf community, as Tiger Woods' mother has just passed away. So we wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that, sending love to the GOAT, Mr. Woods, and, wishing for success in that TGL league.
For real. I mean, Tiger's mom was known as the enforcer, and, he attributed a lot of his mental fortitude to her. She inspired the Sunday Red apparel. There would be no Sunday Red if it wasn't for Mama Woods, and because his sign, they felt like red was the power color for him, and it was something that he took on as a young man, as a young boy playing on tournaments on Sundays, and she would always show up. I think one thing I can remember distinctly is that year that he won the Masters with his dad and him embracing, and his mom, and he always looks for his mom. There's nothing better than a mother's love, and we definitely want to, our MSD family want to definitely give a sincere condolences to the Woods family, because we all have moms that we love dearly and that hold us down, and we wouldn't be nothing if it wasn't for them. So definitely shout out to them and shout out to the moms. And we got Valentine's Day coming up pretty soon, so shout out to all the lovely ladies in all of our lives, because you know what it is, baby. You know what it is.
Long live Catilda Woods.
Let them know. Let them know. For real, for real. Oh my goodness, guys. I can't believe it. We had NBA, more NBA, and GM Sam snuck in for a hot second on some breaking news.
Real quick.
I mean, guys, we try to be as honest and transparent as we can, but when the news hits the flow, we're going to pick it up, baby. We're going to do it every single time, and I love being with this crew. Oh my goodness, it was an amazing episode, guys. I love it. I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. RCR Presents MSD Sports, episode 15. My name is Sam, also known as Wappy K. You can find me at Wappy K up in here. We got Michael John and Michael John DeStefano, and we got Camden here at Mr. Club Paradise. And you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at RCR MSD Sports, everybody. We'll see you in the next step, and that next step is special. See you guys. Oh, yeah? You got something to say, Mikey?
Let's
Oh, yes, sir. Let's go. We'll see you in the next pod. Peace.
Peace.